flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Okay. The minutes are recorded to aid in the preparation. Approval of the minutes for February 1st and February 15th. February 15th was the Cedar Cove meeting. Everybody in?
I had given Susan just some minor changes on the February 1st meeting. So I would make a motion that we accept the February 1st minutes with the corrections and the February 15th minutes as they stand.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes approved. Visitors.
Nobody signed up.
Nobody signed in?
Nope.
Anybody wish to speak?
I just want to thank you and Lou.
He's not here.
Where's Lou at?
Hold that thought, Elmer.
away.
For doing a heck of a job putting that water system back in operation.
It went very
Seeing
smooth.
that we had stuff like that to correct was a good job, great job. So.
Well, it was something that I felt that I had the time, I had the opportunity, and I figured it was a big labor savings in regards to what it took to do it. You know, the parts weren't that bad. I took my own time, drove up, bought the parts off of LB Water. Okay. We have an extra coupling out there. I see there was already an extra one up there that I did not know, so I learned a little bit more. We have the ability to cut a piece of pipe out and repair it now if we have another issue. So we have contingency.
Wiggle room.
We have things in case something accidentally does cause us a problem, we may be able to overcome them. We separated the well, what do they call that? Well one. Well one. We separated it. Put a clamp on it, and it became loose once I cut the pipe apart. So I had to refasten it, put stiffeners on it. To make it rigid again. That whole system in there is only kind of attached by 3 points, 2 tanks and well one. I mean, it's pretty shaky when it's on hangers, okay? It didn't move much, but it did flex once we cut it apart. So here's the pipe that's there.
That's not that.
There was where we cut it out to put the valve in. That wasn't quite as bad. That was in a straight run. That there valve was about 6 inches away from the tank, and from the valve to the tank was an issue also. And Lou was right. When it started dripping, it wasn't a matter of whether it was shaking or not. There just wasn't no metal underneath that. You can take a look. It's completely corroded away, and the iron manganese was sealing it. So it was time. There wasn't much window in between. Another week, I don't think it would have made it, would it, Lou?
I don't think it would.
I think once it started dripping, it was going to drip more till it opened itself up. And then
fast dripping.
And yeah, it was a run. I know Lou was up there looking at it, thinking that water was going to run, open the door, and it was going to be full of water one of these days. It's still dry though, right? Good. And we put an extra valve in, so in case there is an issue, we should be able to get down to 50% of operations on the tanks, for whatever much that's worth if one of them fails, if the valve's shut. And I'm hoping they will. So we'll leave it at that. And be thankful that we got away with, dodged another bullet. Okay? If we have no more visitors, no more discussions in regards to them, we'll go with the engineer's report.
Good
Okay.
report, thanks.
Huh? No report, is that what you said?
I said, good report.
Oh, anyway, everybody has a copy of this report it's distributed? Okay. As of February 18th, I received a phone call or a text message, I guess, from Henry Holman III stating that the disconnection between the well and the water distribution system for Sunshine Hills was completed, in that the pipe was cut. Henry had given me information in the form of some pictures as well. I forwarded information on to Christine Metzger at DEP to let her know that this work has been done and it was physically disconnected. Ms. Metzger replied back on February 22nd and said that was deemed as acceptable by the DEP. However, she added another little footnote, if you notice, is that, you know, abandoning the well, we should abandon it appropriately according to DEP standards. But if you recall, I had spoken to Mike Hess several times on that, and that wasn't going to be required. So if that comes back to be an issue, I'll raise that issue at the time. But
If I wouldn't have put the friction clamp on it, we wouldn't have had to worry about it. It would have disappeared.
Yeah. So anyway, right now, you know, you've met special condition number 1 of the comprehensive operations permit that was issued by DEP on September 26th. So I think we're in compliance.
That took us a whole half hour.
Yeah.
It was much simpler than I thought,
Well, I'm glad it worked.
and once we were satisfied that we didn't have no leaks, we decided that's a little further we were gonna go.
Right. Well, you did what you were required to do, and that was it. The only other thing I talked to you about, Henry, is maybe disconnecting the well pump from the panel.
Terminating the wires.
Yeah, yeah. So just so that, you know, that pump, it wouldn't.
If we can figure out how to terminate the wires to that pump, I don't care if we snip one of them at a time and bug them. I don't care how to do it. But it should be off. It should. I think if you shut the power off to it, I'm pretty sure it should be de-energized.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, you know, as a added safety precaution, not that somebody energizes that pump and then you flood out the.
What's your opinion, Lou?
Have Susan do it.
Yeah. I'll come up with you.
I'll wear my rubber shoes.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. And yeah.
Let me see where
Yeah, we can.
We just shut the breaker off and pull the wires in.
Yeah, that's what I
Cover off,
think.
look at it dead, we'll just
Yeah.
disconnect it.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's what I thought. Just disconnect the
Yep,
wires.
that's satisfactory.
That way, it's, you know, nobody's flipping, you know, things on and off and not knowing what they're doing. Next item is the Michael Ward Sewer Project. We were kind of without some data there for several weeks, but then finally the data appeared. We were able to get access again to it after I had spoken to Mr. Ward. He had promised me that he would look into it, and sure enough, it's now available again, but it took some time for that to happen. I only downloaded the data from August 1st to February 22nd before I wrote the report. But again, we continue to climb in the amount of flow being put into the system. For the month of January, you know, we're averaging 4,301 gallons per day, which is just 28.7 EDUs, so it'd be 29 EDUs. And then for the month of February, we are averaging 4,439 gallons per day, which is 29.6 EDUs. So I tried to download the precipitation data to some degree, but it looks like weather.com changed their format and they're no longer giving you precipitation data, because I'd get it from Marysville and Duncannon for each day. But they're not having it presented that way any longer. So
Did you evaluate it on the day that I called you?
that was that February 7th, wasn't it? It might have been. I think it was. But so right there, that was about, let's see. It was about 4,400 gallons that day if it was February 7th. But the two peak days were February 12th and 13th, which was again 5,401 gallons per day on the 12th and 5,215 on the 13th.
So he's 2 times what he's permitted for, is that?
Well, he's almost, well, if you look at that number, it's more than 2 times. It's almost, it's 3.5 times.
3.5 times?
Yeah, 36 EDU, yeah, 3.6, yeah.
Yep, every month.
So, yeah, and that's what you're seeing, is you're progressively seeing an increase each month. And, again, you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we definitely have an issue, and I understand Mr. Ward, from speaking to him, was installing some low-flow fixtures for his tenants and so forth, and I know we talked about him installing a water meter at the last meeting. I don't know where that's... Yeah, so...
You want me to report on that? Wait.
Let's wait for yours till we get it up there. Might as well address it, because he's here, because he may not be here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I talked to him about the meter. First I wrote him and then talked to him. He said that it would have to be, as he put it, would have to be inside the building. And I'm not sure what the layout is there, but
Yeah, I don't either.
he looked in what he called the pit, and he said there's pipes everywhere, and he had no idea what size pipe it would be. So he suggested that whoever our installer is get a hold of his property manager, Jim, after 3 p.m. any weekday, and that they could, you know, get in there and do what needs to be done. He doesn't oppose at all that a meter would be installed. He went over the same thing with me he did with you about, you know, what he's trying to do, and he also told me that he's found out there's a lot of people living in some of these properties, way more than are authorized to be there.
Well, I think he told me too, Dennis, is that people were concerned about pipes freezing and stuff, and we're just turning on fixtures and letting them run just to keep the pipes from not, you know, freezing. So that would, you know, wow.
So that's pretty much it. And if you want me to, I can put Jody, if that's who this is going to be, in touch with Jim, or however you want to do it. Somebody would need to get them to coordinate so that, you know, I guess Jody would be the one to look at this, right, to decide what.
Yeah,
So-
I'm assuming that's the direction we want to go.
I would think so. Now, do we have the meter?
I guess it
Have
depends on what size it is.
Well, I guess we don't, because we don't know the pipe size. And his deadline was today,
Yes.
Okay.
so we've blown another deadline.
Do you want me to contact Jody, or do you want somebody else to do that?
What it sounds like.
Get hold of Jim?
Yes. You have phone numbers and stuff?
If somebody has Jody's number, it would help. But I have it, but I'd have
Do you
to.
have Jim's phone number?
Yes,
Okay.
I could give you that.
I can
now.
give you Jody Hoffman's phone number right now if you want it. The number I have is 256-3463.
256-3463.
What's your,
Yes.
what do you have for an area code? It's 616 or something.
615.
Oh,
615. He's got a Tennessee number.
Can you save that?
well,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, save that.
Oh,
I mean,
I was
we'll
gonna-
talk to you about that
615.
afterward.
Okay, got it.
well, I have 412-73302.
One of those is his business number in Enola.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's the business number. I don't recall having dialed the
I have a
area
615 number too.
Well, I've got 2 different
All
numbers.
right,
I'll-
all right.
I'll
What do you
find
got,
him.
Dennis?
All right.
Well, the 256-3463 and then 686-0895, both 615 area.
I have either one of them.
All right. Well,
He's a man of many phones.
anyway,
If I can't find him, I'll let you know.
yeah. So anyway, that's where we stand with
I
Mr.
mean, it's
Ward.
gonna take us probably 2 weeks to get the water meter,
Right.
because we'll probably have to order it, do the size, and get it shipped down from LB. Okay?
And then working into Jody's schedule to get it on. So are we going to be sending Mr. Ward another letter about this? Contacting him and giving him another,
Oh, my God.
God, the amount we've spent
Well,
on
at a minimum,
postage alone, you know?
we probably had to give him an update on what his
Yeah, no kidding. But just for formality, I mean, I've got a whole file at home.
finding, because all this effort he's making, it's going the opposite direction, so, you know, I don't know what this.
It's not working.
No.
Okay, let's do it this way. How about if we take Randy's information? I hate to get Dennis involved in this anymore,
I don't need to, you guys
but I think we need to keep the paperwork right. Dennis, get the paperwork off of Randy in regards to the EDUs and where he's heading at with this, okay? Send him a letter with that. Explain to him we need to get a visit, so we know what size of line it is, and how to put this water meter in. We will order it, and we will get it installed. And really, as far as I'm concerned, if his meter is in its place, it would be replaced. And he needs to understand that that's a possibility that could occur, and does he have an issue with that?
Okay, fair.
You understand what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I do.
If he has an issue with that, then we gotta regroup.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Because that means you got a pile of labor to make this work. The idea is to tear his, whatever rate that meter is, it may not be calibrated, it may be 100 years old. We're willing to put a new meter in and replace his, that's current, new, and we will next turn a reader on, and we don't need every window.
Time out a minute. He's close to $4,000 on his escrow account.
Right, that's up, I marked that too, Jim.
Well, he's contesting the fact that
He's gonna contest
I've been
that.
putting, anytime that Randy puts in about monitoring the flow, he's contesting that.
I got to break the detail on the escrow account charges, it was 30 pages, and I have it sitting on my desk, I'll get it for him, I hadn't gotten it to him.
Okay.
He did tell me that the check he was expecting hasn't cleared yet. He was gonna check today to see if it did. And if it does, then he'll make the payment on the other stuff to get it done.
But he says,
But
he's
the
saying
escrow,
that,
he wants to see the breakdown.
he's saying Randy's time should be charged to us, not him. Is that
Well,
the
at some
idea?
point, he says that, after after what he calls the project.
When the project was
over.
completed, all this chasing it down,
Right,
to prove that he's in violation, he wants us to pay for it. About the end result of it.
well, yeah, let's see what the numbers look like, we'll deal with it.
Randy had
Okay.
given us this last month.
Yeah.
The usage, if you want to
Okay.
copy that, you may.
Okay, well, I can write that down.
Okay?
I'll finish putting in the numbers for this month up, and then I can get that to you, Dennis. probably
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, is that all right?
Yep.
All right.
I mean, we're soon gonna have to make a decision on this.
Yes.
So far, so good.
All right, keep me moving, huh? Is that what you're telling? Wastewater General, got a call from the chairman, asking some questions and having concerns about a pump down at Tubby's, nightclub, and there was some issues with the pump operation and maintenance issue, and talking to Jody at IJ Tech, Jody told me that basically what's happening is there's the material that's coming down the sewer into the pump station is it's being collected in the pump itself and is causing the pump not to operate efficiently. It's like female hygiene products that are being flushed down the toilet. With that,
Recommendations.
the recommendation based upon our conversation with Jody was to either replace the pump in kind and replace the rail system, or replace the pump with an E1 grinder pump. Speaking to Jody and Bill Hill and Henry, we decided to go with the grinder pump. It was cheaper, and then I had forwarded it, and I got emails back that you guys were on board with that as well. So I think it's about at least $3,000 cost savings. And Jody felt that the Barnes pumps were not a grinder type pump, where with the E1 it is a grinder type pump, and that would be more efficient and so forth. So that decision was made to go ahead and replace the Barnes pumps with the grinder E1 pumps. Okay, so I think that word has been passed on to Jody, and I think he was going to act on that I don't know where it stands as far as if he was procuring the equipment and materials and things like that, and for installation. Next item of business would be Perry County Beer Company. We had received information directly from the Perry County Beer Company, and their contractors are related to the design of the proposed grinder pump system. Information was very limited. Talked to the chairman at the meeting we had, and I then called Mr. Philippone. I even called Dennis, talked to Dennis about this, to say, look, we're going to need more information. The information that was given was very minimal. We would need probably a site plan, list of materials, and shop drawings, and he basically just gave us a very condensed list of materials without any actual shop drawings or submittals to substantiate what he was providing. Plus, he provided me a copy of our detail showing the configuration of the grinder pump and how it's connecting to the sewer. So I placed that call, left a message. He still hasn't called me back. So that's been a couple weeks probably.
Randy,
Yeah.
with what this gentleman's trying to do, okay, it don't need to be that complicated.
Right, and
Okay?
that's what we
And
talked about. Yep.
And what I'm trying to say is, it could be a hand sketch, am I correct?
Well, what I
And
would,
if, now, listen to me, if he turned around and had a estimated takeoff material
Mhm.
and got a price sheet on it, you would have pretty much all the information for speccing, so you would know what he was going to be installing, you know what I'm saying?
right. Well-
It's not that, if he does this, he can do this very easily and for very little expense off of you.
Right. What I was going to suggest, Henry, is if you could get like an aerial photograph and just take the property and then use that as a sketch from a plan standpoint. And then any of the materials that he was utilizing, if he could just provide us, like you said, the minimal submittal information, maybe like the type of pipe,
I mean,
the
if you-
SDR, the
what I'm-
pipe, yeah.
Here's gonna be an example. Say
Yeah.
somebody sat there and made a list,
Mhm.
and they went to Fagers and said, this is what we want.
Right.
And Fagers turns around, puts it all together, writes all the model numbers, all the parts, everything
Right.
down on it, and hands it over to you.
Yeah.
That would be suffice for what we need off this man, would it not?
Yeah, I'd have to look at it, but I agree. That's what I was going to say. I just need more information to know exactly what we're getting, because I even had a couple questions. It looked like there was some inconsistencies in what he was providing.
And that's what I'm getting. I mean, yes, he gotta do a little bit extra legwork, but he does not need an engineer and people involved that's gonna cost him lots of money.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, this can be done without
Right.
breaking the bank if he's conscientious of what
Right.
he's trying to do, you know?
Well, that's what we're trying to do, is work with him. With I haven't received a phone call back, so I left that message. I figured if I don't hear back again, I'll try to call him next week. So.
Yeah, I talked to him.
If he is a concern, I really don't wanna go to the point where I gotta talk to him, but if that's what it's gonna be, I will, to get you people, so you're not being in this on a money side thing, you
Right.
know? Explain to him in our terms, okay, not to be out there and you guys is
Right.
jingle, you know, language. I mean, everybody seems to be intimidated, and it's not, you guys are not out there to make this a complicated operation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't see why he couldn't do that. I mean, we're gonna pay at the tap, we're gonna pay for the extra line coming, valve and stuff coming off the other side, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and you have a detail for him and that's gonna be approved too? You're gonna be able to create a detail for him to do that with?
Well, we can create the detail, but we first got to know what he's going to do
Okay.
in order to, yeah.
Okay, and I think it would be very valuable for us to put that on board too with him, so we
Right.
communicate that,
Right.
okay?
Right.
That's on our dime,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yep. Yep. Now, that's what we talked about, I think, at the meeting the other
Mhm.
night, so.
I mean, really, if he puts a curb valve right there at that point,
Yeah.
he can transition to almost any kind of material and equipment before that, so you should be able to give him all that information that he needs to connect to a point.
Right. Well, that information is available on our plans. It's just we need to know how he plans to tie in and so forth. And show the alignment and so forth, so, yeah. I just don't wanna give him a blank check and say, yeah, go ahead and do it without,
Correct.
without having some type of idea what he's going to do, because what he plans on doing and what he might do are two different things, or what he ends up doing. So, we just don't wanna
I mean,
be in
it's
a
not
bad
like he's-
situation
It's
and,
not like he's dealing with a live line, he's got a lot of
Right.
issues and tie-ins. It's
Right.
an open line. It's
Exactly.
gonna be simple to hook into, it can be left open and inspected. It's not something that's a big deal, it's not a hot system.
he'll need to get an HOP from PennDOT though, because we're in the right of way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this,
Yeah,
maybe that should be our business since we want the connection.
well, that's fine. I just wanted to let you know,
We're on board with that,
Yeah, why make him
okay?
bear
Okay.
that burden?
okay?
All right.
Now, would that get us off of PennDOT's right away? Or do we wanna keep it on PennDOT's right
We
away?
want to keep it in
So
PennDOT.
we can come up along there
Yeah,
underneath the
otherwise you're
bridge?
going to need an easement.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at. I need to clarify which way we want that, and we need to tell him that part of it needs to be documented as such too.
yeah.
Okay, so you may have to go out there and put a mark saying it needs to be kept within these PennDOT's right away. So there's gonna be some money in this for us.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the way that's gonna be is there's gonna be a short tail off of his tap that's gonna get him onto his property.
And you would need to be the applicant anyway for PennDOT
That's
because,
what I'm thinking.
yeah,
It
so,
don't make
but
sense.
who pays for the application fee and, you know, so, but.
I mean, since it's gonna be in there, we're gonna need to tap into it.
Yeah.
I feel it should be our responsibility,
Okay,
okay? I'm assuming there's gonna be a 3 or 4 foot tail before he puts the curb valve in it that gets him on his property, am I right?
right,
Okay, so technically, if I'm not mistaken, we're kind of paying for that setup there anyhow.
right.
I mean, I don't like the idea of us spending the money, but technically, we should be giving him a valve to hook to.
Right.
Well, you're getting a connection, and you're also eliminating a potential environmental problem.
Yes. I mean, I don't like us picking up in this, but in the same atmosphere, I think we got a little bit cheated on our original installment. I'm not very happy with that end result. We got across the bridge, but we didn't get no more than across the bridge. And I think that was wrong.
Okay,
I think that was totally wrong. I think we should have had a little bit more structure to that. And now this is what we have,
okay,
okay?
yep,
I mean, we should dang near had it almost to the point that it should have been within a foot or two of his property. And it would have been very little intrusion. So we probably wouldn't even have to go into this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
well, we took it to the right of way line,
Yes, I
Yeah.
understand that.
yeah, okay. All right, what else? The other,
Phosphorus.
well, the other thing is, what about escrow and things like that?
Well, yeah, I talked to him, I sent him a draft of the developer's agreement, standard form we use,
Mm-hmm,
and told him that we would need the $2,500. He's having his attorney review the document, isn't happy about any of this, but he's having it reviewed and he'll get back to me, or his lawyer
I
will.
mean, if we keep this under cost control, he'll get money back.
Absolutely.
And that's
sure,
what
yep.
you need to emphasize
I
that,
will.
that you keep it simple, so we don't,
Yeah, we don't
and that's
spend
what
it.
I'm saying, if it becomes too much of an issue, maybe somebody other than you two need to explain to them, there's ways of keeping this under control.
well, that's what I was hoping to discuss with him, because I was looking for more information, but we were really streamlining the process, so,
If he
But-
wants to talk to me, give me his phone number and I will talk to him.
Yeah, I'll
Explain
talk
it to him that
and
we'll,
see.
we'll try to do everything we can to save you guys' cost on it,
yeah,
by avoiding it. I hate to say that, but
okay.
avoiding them till till you guys are needed. Right now, it's just bing, 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 bing. It's not to the damage,
All right.
Yeah, I'll get you.
okay?
Now, you want to talk about the phosphorus.
Okay.
Now,
Or do you wanna, I see, let's go over here to our minutes. I see we have Duncan's DMRs, we have,
yeah,
okay?
well, okay, you want to go to chapter 94? I did distribute your chapter 94 report to you guys. If you're okay with that, I got a signature page here. I can go over.
Yeah, go ahead, go over it.
Okay. This is for 2016. If you look at the hydraulic loading graph, you're well under the 100,000 gallons per day. You're typically, below 60,000 gallons per day. So you did have a couple blips there in I guess it was, was it May? I'd have to look at the data, but you had, you were fine hydraulically. On the organic loading, you had one high level at like 265 pounds per day. Your permitted limit for your organic capacity is 456 pounds per day. We tried to evaluate why we thought that was the case. We didn't come up with a good reason. The only other thing we could think of is maybe it was just a high, there was some materials in the sample, and maybe the sample just wasn't good. I don't know if you can expound on that or not. I don't know, because it doesn't. If you look at the rest of the data, the rest of the data was less than 150 and more so less than 100. But what that does to your 5-year average is it's not a problem unless we continue to have these occurrences. Which
You mean that spike?
the spike, because what it is on your 5-year average, what it does is you keep going with your 5 years, and if you have this year and have another spike and another spike, you're going to, as your 5-year average, you're dropping off the low values and adding the higher values across that 5-year period. So it could have an effect. We really don't see that right now. It's an issue. We don't anticipate it to being an issue, but we'll just have to watch and see. Okay. We looked at the pumping station, and the pumping station is we consider it excellent condition. Would you guys agree with that? Yes. Okay.
Which pumping station?
That would be the Cove pumping station. Yeah, this is for the Cove, chapter 94. What's that? Excellent? Okay. Yeah. And then with the condition of the water treatment plant, we feel that it is in good condition and it continues to be operated very efficiently. So, okay. Your hydraulic loading, your 3-month peak occurred in 2016 at March, April, May. That's been consistent with the preceding 2 years, 2014, 2015. Those were the peak 3 months, consecutive 3 months period as well. So what's happening, your peaking factor on the 5-year average is 1.08, but for 2016 it was specifically 1.13. The other years were typically, it ranged from 103 up to the 1.13. So, again, going back to the organic loading, the peak occurred in January 2016. That was 265 pounds per day value. The 5-year average is 213 pounds per day. And again, and that's in milligrams per liter. I'm sorry, I said pounds per day. The pounds per day would be 88 for the 5-year average and 105 for the average for 2016. So, you're well below that. Again, nothing to be really concerned about at this point. We have the following documentation where there was maintenance and calibrations done here, from TriStar, and then you have your the sludge generation calculation. I think Bill and Lou had spoke about that, where typically you'd maybe have close to 90 to 100,000 gallons, or excuse me, yeah, what was it, gallons that you would have processed. And in this case, it spanned over into
We carried some
2017.
inventory into this year.
What's that?
We carried
Yeah,
inventory into
yeah,
this
right.
year.
So I think for this year, or for last year, it was what, 48,000 gallons or something like that, yeah. So, and then you just had done another, I guess, had the, what is it, clients come in and
Yeah,
again
they
in
would
like
come in
February,
again.
yeah. What we did is on this report, we showed the 10 EDUs for the ward property. We added that into the report where you have a total connected EDUs of, where is it? Where I'm losing my place. I thought it was 391.
I don't think you need to go in too much detail
Okay.
with what we're doing here, Randy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Numbers in a roundabout way at the present moment, just, I mean, yeah, they're working, I understand what you're saying. The same atmosphere, we're looking for the bottom line of a big change that you've got, or
Yeah.
issues from last year
The-
that you see that could occur. Like you said, the extra EDUs, that's one of them,
Yep,
okay? Do we
yep.
have any more extra EDUs? Is there any projections coming out?
Well, and that leads me to a discussion I had today with a gentleman, and I'll get to that. But anyway, I think when it comes down to everything, we're well within the limits. We don't see any issues with the system. And we'll just have to follow through and monitor that BOD to make sure that, that's not going to be a continued issue. So, yeah, 391 EDUs is what's connected to the wastewater collection system at this point. Okay? So,
391 EDUs?
yeah, it's on page 3. I looked right at it and blew right by it. Yeah. And we're looking at 5 EDUs as projected over the next 5 years. And we're looking again at 5 at 150 gallons per day per EDU. So that's going to be another 750 gallons per day per year for the next 5 years. Okay? Which is pretty standard in this case.
We just got 2. We just got paid for 2 this week.
Okay.
Down there,
For in Sunshine, Sunsquehanna Hill,
yes.
Okay.
okay, St. John's Road.
So I would, if you're okay with that, I would ask that, I have the, I already gave it to you, didn't I? No, it's right here, I'm sorry. If you're okay with that, and you decide to move forward, I would just need your signature and date on that. Then we can submit that to DEP. Now, what we're waiting for is some data. We just got some data tonight for doing the Duncannon supplemental, Chapter 94. So we haven't done that. If you're so inclined, when we'd have that completed here shortly, if you want to give a motion on that as well, if you're in agreement prior to the next meeting, we can then get that finalized and submitted to Duncannon. Now, the other thing we haven't gotten is we haven't gotten any budget information or anything like that from the borough to do the, so, and I have asked Susan and, yeah, so that's, I kind of saw that today in the news. And, yeah, I was kind of
Okay,
shocked.
Let's address this one here.
Okay.
Sewage treatment plant, Chapter 94. What's the wish of the body? Do we want to accept it? Motion?
Make a motion, to accept the report.
Second.
Regularly moved and seconded to accept the Chapter 94 report for the Cove treatment plant. Any discussions? All those in favor, for the consent of saying aye. Aye opposed? Thank you, Randy. I'll sign this.
Okay. And then if you want to maybe, when we submit the supplemental Chapter 94 for the borough, we'll get that here in the next,
You get it here, we will get a copy, you can send a copy to us like you did with this,
okay,
okay? If everybody looks at it, says they're in agreement.
all right,
I don't have no problems that,
all right.
if you want to amend, we can make a motion that once we read it, we can do it now, if you wish. Once we read it, we have consensus, okay? If everybody's happy with
Probably
it,
nothing's changed.
okay? And then I'll get it signed,
Okay, all right,
all right?
yeah, we'll get that to you as soon as we
Motion
can.
of that contingent upon viewing of it,
Yes,
okay?
I'll make it.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Any discussions on the Duncannon partial chapter 94 plan? All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Next reading.
okay. Now, what I did is I received a telephone call from a Mr. Frank Boyer today. Along this, he was talking to me about connecting into the Kincora wastewater treatment facility. He's down there by Fort Dodge. He's having a septic system that's failed, and he's looking at something in order to, to alleviate his current situation in the form that he can't have anybody inhabit his property as occupants, because I guess DEP has really told him that he's got to vacate the premises until he can take care of the situation. So him and I had a good lengthy discussion. I told him that, he should come to
Is that
be,
the first house off the road?
I don't know if it's the first or the second.
The second one, okay.
Yeah.
The old Ferguson place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, we had a discussion, and I gave him some information as far as, what would be involved to some degree. He'd need to ask for, if there's capacity, and then, there's going to be a substantial cost for him to connect to the system.
Or under Cove Road.
Yeah.
And under the
Sure, we'll do it
creek.
with
Well, I talked to
Yeah,
him,
and the
Under the
well,
creek.
and then when driving through, I realized the creek was there too, so I thought, so he was gonna evaluate his, what his options were, and then maybe come to maybe a subsequent meeting. So I don't know where that stands, but,
Is he far enough away he doesn't have to connect? Is that
Right.
what?
Yes.
yeah. So anyway, just to put that out there and to make you aware of it, okay?
Be cheaper for him to put one of them chrome glass systems. in.
Yeah.
Depends on how much area he owns.
Yeah, so just so you know, that's out there, and I don't know where that's gonna take us, but anyway. So I have that, and then Henry called me about, I guess, some phosphorus
Did
issues.
you get a letter?
I didn't get a letter, but I got this.
You got that, that's what I'm
Yeah,
getting at.
okay,
That's
okay.
what I'm asking.
All right, I did get this.
Did you get that?
What Bill and I talked about this, and he, typically, the MPDES discharge limits might be 2 or under milligrams per liter, but typically what's coming into the plant as influent, a lot of times is 20 to 25 milligrams per liter. There's some places where it might be 10 milligrams per liter, but Bill and I both, after discussing it, thought if that's their 2 milligrams per liter that would be going into the plant, that's pretty stringent. So I don't know what their requirement is. I think what we talked about, we were going to wait and maybe see if we got something from the borough in the form of some type of letter. I guess that hasn't happened at this point.
Well, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be brought up at the GOAC meeting, we're gonna have to run through that operation.
Yeah.
So they're
What I'm
looking
trying-
for 2? Is that what they're?
Well,
The
that,
end result coming out of the plant, okay,
Oh.
now it's at 2.2.
well, the one reading here, the manhole at the pumping station from Penn Township, they recorded as 12.81.
Yes.
That's milligrams per liter of phosphorus. And that's how that's being reported. And again, a lot of places where we work, it's 20 to 25 milligrams per liter that you're allowed. After you go above that threshold, you would get a surcharge. Now, the thing with that is, you can always treat it. You can treat it to bring it down.
does everybody have the same level?
No. Here's the different levels that are being reported. But if two is the threshold limit for influent into the plant, we exceeded here at manhole number 67, at manhole D17, manhole D8, because that's 3.7, 2.7, 2.4. Then we get the manhole at the pumping station at McGuire's at 12.81. Here is manhole number 44 at 7.17, and then at the wastewater treatment plant influent, it's 2.2. So we might, at the influent at the wastewater treatment plant, it is 2.2. They're probably effluent limit is probably, I would think that's where the 2 comes in. Yeah.
And Duncannon wants to keep it at what?
The end result is they're trying to control it
Two.
too.
Not treated, but coming in.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, that's,
I mean, the level of phosphorus coming into their system.
See, the problem is we didn't have no readings over 2 for a long time. We're
Yeah.
trying to figure out why it's coming above.
well, you're going to have, if it's McGuire's, you might have it if they put a car wash in
They
there.
do have a car wash.
And I think that's what Henry and I talked about. They just put one in, maybe a newer one or something.
Mhm.
You're going to get phosphates, which then you have phosphorus, and then that's how they're measuring this as
That's
phosphorus.
probably the 7, am I right?
No, that's the high one. It's the 12.81.
7's the one coming down off of business campus.
Well, I think that's number 44, manhole number 44.
It's
Yeah.
coming down off business campus.
Yeah. So anyway, those are your 2 highest
lines
readings.
Are the ones that are higher. The ones, everything else, I mean, they even check their laundromat. And their laundromat, they physically check the laundromat discharge,
Yeah.
and it's good.
Oh, wow.
So, but anyway, I guess, I think what we're looking at is maybe wait and see
So
what the borough
we need
comes
to
in.
ask them at the JOAC meeting,
Yeah,
what would they like us, or what do they want?
yeah,
Okay?
What's the acceptable influence?
What are you guys trying to promote that we do here?
right.
And you say 25 is.
20 to 25. We have one client that has 10, but I think it all depends upon,
But the discharge limit for Duncannon is the same as for Harrisburg, for everybody, or?
well, the effluent, no, I
No.
think it could be different. It's usually like 1 or 2 or something, like,
1 or 2?
yeah. Is that what you've?
It's typical, but it depends on the receiving stream.
Right,
where
the stream, and, we'd be discharging to the Susquehanna River, and, but anyway, but for them to have 2 as an influent, we think that that's really.
I don't think that they're really talking about that. I think the idea is to get it down to a point where our mixing it keeps it, they admit that diluting it is what's gonna occur, and it's not diluted down to the point where they're
Well-
happy with being.
Well, what they're showing here, Henry, is the wastewater treatment plant influent is 2.2.
Yes.
So,
If we took
yeah.
say we took the 12 down to a 10,
Yeah.
and the 7 down to a 5, you'd probably be good,
Yeah,
Right.
okay? And I think you're gonna find that's the direction they're gonna ask us to go.
yeah,
Okay, reduce it so when it's mixed, we may have to get you involved in this.
yeah.
We'll have to talk with their engineer at the JOAC meeting and see what the story is before we go any further.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get you involved.
I
in
think we
details.
need more information at this point.
You see what I'm saying?
And see-
Let their engineer and their treatment plant operators discuss where they want us to go with this, okay? But they've confirmed that our 2 points are the highest readings in the whole plant, whole system, okay?
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. I thank you on that.
Okay.
Let's keep moving.
I think that's basically all that I have.
4B and 5B,
I added that.
okay?
That was just something I thought about. The man who just bought the tapping fees for St. John's.
Uh-huh.
Will the township require us to have a capacity letter, right, when those houses are built? When something new's built, isn't there something, a DEP module,
They want to know, yes,
That-
they need to know that there's capacity in the line to accept their services.
all right, so that's why I put that there. Do we have to, is there something we have to do ahead of time so that when Helen says, where's my letter?
I'm going to say we're probably good, but that's up to Randy, because Randy's going to have to do a quick,
Yeah, and we need that same thing from the Perry County Beer Company too. They need to have
going to Duncannon.
Well, you're right.
Right.
So that was part of the list that was, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we have capacity in that line down there, is what I'm asking, Randy?
Well, for the pure
No, coming down off
Sunshine Hill. or
Susquehanna Hills.
Bonita Hill.
I'd have to look, yeah.
I mean, that's how that normally works.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, we get you to look at it, you
Right.
say yes, and but there's taps all over the place. It's not gonna be a mathematical dilemma to make it come together,
No.
because the system up there is made, I mean, the tank, we just said chapter 94, we got plenty of capacity,
Right.
okay? It's an 8-inch line going down through.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
has so much
you can
capacity.
sit there and go,
What are we talking,
And-
2 EDUs?
huh, 2 EDUs,
Probably
yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
I mean, all we need is
It's
him to
just
say
two
yes.
houses.
It's
Well,
it.
it's not the capacity of the plant or the pump station, it'd be the capacity of the line.
Capacity of the line.
And with an 8-inch line,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mute issue.
And
for
it's
him to
just, we
at.
look at it based upon the side of the line and the minimum slope at the, yeah,
All
so,
right, so that's your job.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll need the information.
What do you need?
What's
Location.
location?
Well,
and-
it's on the agenda for,
I didn't get an agenda.
you didn't.
No, I don't ever get an agenda.
Oh, here.
Okay.
Well, you need to start
This is
asking.
a lot. It's,
No wonder
right
you're
now they're
running
lot
around.
numbers, but it's St. John's
Okay.
Road.
All right. Yeah, I don't very often get one. I think I got one at the last meeting, but
Well, we'll
Does
just
Mr.
get on camera.
Philpott know he's gonna have to, or are we taking care of that?
What?
For the Perry County Pier, is he
Oh.
gonna have the same issue?
You mean phosphates?
No.
Capacity.
well, no, but he still needs to go for the formality of,
Yes.
yeah.
Does he know that yet, or?
Well, that was part of that checklist of,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah,
You-
that I gave, yeah, yeah. So it had the escrow and everything, and
Okay.
had the PennDOT or the HOP and stuff.
I mean, you need to explain to him, Dennis, that we can't change the structure for the escrow, okay? But we are willing to do the best thing we can to keep the cost down on the escrow, so he gets it back,
Absolutely.
okay? It's an upfront thing, so we don't get financially stuck with something, okay? We don't want to run out of money up there.
No, I
Okay,
understand.
so make sure you give that to him in an explanation, and he should get money back.
Oh, absolutely. I think
If he
so.
don't. All right, what else you got, Randy?
That's it.
All right. All right, you two quit fighting who wants to speak. I ain't never seen nothing like this in my whole
I told him it was my turn
life.
last week, but I wasn't here, so it's his turn.
Oh, okay.
I'll make this painless if I can. Let's see.
Thank you for your report.
Yes, that's,
Are there any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Only because I noticed on the invoices that clients had hauled 2 loads of sludge from Cove. When was that done? Because I don't, should I see that on the report or shouldn't I?
it was done.
Lou, I'm not
they
hearing
did it-
anything.
They did it at 8 o'clock in the morning and again at 10 on the same day. It's on the bill, it's on the check.
Yeah,
It's over
it
there.
should be,
Yeah,
On that
it's on their
invoice,
it's on their
I don't
manifest.
remember the date, I have to say. If you want it, I can get it.
No,
Doesn't
it's-
matter. I
it's-
just looked for it on here and I didn't see it.
Susan sees them. She gave one to me, matter of fact, and had the date.
Yeah, it has the dates on.
Okay.
In fact,
That's
I was surprised because it was 2 of them for the same date and I wondered if they made a
Well,
mistake and then
no,
I
they
saw
took 2
8
loads
o'clock
out
and
of it.
10
Yeah,
o'clock.
I guess we can include those. We didn't include it because it's more of an operational thing. It's not an extraordinary event. It's something that occurs regularly over the course of a year.
Mhm.
You know, when a piece of equipment fails or there's some emergency situation, or those are the things that we're bringing to your attention in this particular report
Yeah.
because they're extraordinary events and unusual events.
I guess it's just the old bookkeeper in me coming out and thinking the correlation between the expenditure and when it
did it
happened.
happen? It was last year.
Sorry. Yeah.
I told you he wanted to talk.
I had to give you a chance. That was my only question, and that's not,
No, I will read over this.
That's flushing water.
Yeah, I know.
Uh-oh,
I know, when was that done?
uh-oh. What question?
August. That's what mine.
Deal with this all day.
Maybe there wasn't ours. Oh,
Well, see, you're not on our list.
okay.
You're not on our bills and invoice list because I didn't get the bill till 6:30 this morning is when it was dated. And last night at by 6 o'clock, I did the
We didn't want to
financials.
charge you too soon. Which
So,
people
you know,
always can.
So I'm going to ask them to pay you even though it's not on the list.
Okay, everything worked satisfactorily, as it says there. Items performed or seen or action taken at the Cove were, this darn, I almost said damn, but I didn't say damn, I said darn. Generator, and Ed told me it has a mind of its own. We routinely play God and shut the main breaker off to make sure that the generator will do what it's supposed to do for you. But it didn't, it just sat there. So I called Stevens' generator service, they came out and he said he did it, worked fine. So I guess it was the way that I threw the breaker down. I find that hard to believe, but he said it did happen in the past and he's not sure. He stopped the very next day on the way home for free and it worked again, so it has worked since. I'll leave that go. On February 7th, there was a minor interruption of power and we did lose the blowers. We reset everything and there was no harm to the system. As far as biologically, everything worked fine. That same day, we found both pumps on side 2, which is a newer side, as you may remember it, were both clogged. It turned out that one of the discharge pipes for number 2 pump, or the pipe for discharge 2, was cracked. Jody's people come out, we pumped it down, he made repairs to that. What else did we do? Also, we finally completed with the state the 50 pages or so of the registration application for your EDMR, which is to do all the DMRs electronically, which God only knows when they'll start using it, but we had to do it. So that has been completed. We will give you a copy of that to put somewhere. I don't know what you'll do with it. Jim did, I didn't, but he updated the price for the Omni, that's the alarm, the telemetric system is at approximately $3,000, which does not include the hookup of that, meaning we have to run conduits, wires, and devices to hook to that to tell us when things shut off, which would alert us to those problems we are having when the power goes off and it doesn't bring everything back online.
Yeah.
One time it was pretty ugly, but the last couple of times we just happened to come in right after it happened. But there was one that was 24 hours, which was not good. It got a little cloudy. What am I missing? Kincora. Oh, there's also with that alarm system, it's a $23 a month charge for the self-service. Kincora, let's see, we purchased, finally got the sampler that you did purchase up and running. We were having some issues with conduits underground that were broken and we were trying to use, and we did get all those fixed. And we did get the final power source supplied and it has been working beautifully. And also, we did the EDMR for that one, so that will be another 55 pages to store somewhere. Sunshine Hill, I don't think I need to mention that. You pretty much went over that.
If you see issues that we have long-term possibilities of planning, I'll do my best to see if I can't pull off another.
Miracle.
I won't say it's miracle, but maybe I can pull it off and save some more money. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you did
I
excellent.
do.
I was there. I thought so was some other people.
I mean, Lou, you gave me good support. I mean, there was a couple of times I couldn't do something by myself. He stayed in there and controlled the water flow out of the tank, so that was an important thing.
You scared the death out of me that one time when you beat on that with a pipe wrench. Well, I was told not even to breathe on it. But anyway.
Well, we had to stress the structural integrity of it, so we know how much longer we got.
Okay, the Cove pumping station, we did take a look and investigated the needs for the, we need to get some power to that generator to keep that charged and heated in the event it's needed, because as Jody reported that to you, that
Which one's that?
At Cove, Kincora is also going to need it too. And we looked at the main cable. which puzzles us, why the generator has that main cable that goes over and supplies power in the event you need it at the station, but there's only a manual transfer switch, meaning you must be there to apply that power. Okay, it's not an automatic transfer switch. So to leave the cord layout in the weather for all those years, I don't know why, because it's not going to come on and do anything. So you could merely, it's kind of like getting an extension cord and using. We're going to look and see how bad it really is, but it's cracked to the point you can see the inner wiring.
Yes.
That's not good, and is that the one that has the wrong plug on it?
Yeah.
It also has, when it was installed or purchased and put up there, it has the wrong end on the plug. It has a male end on it, which when hardwired into the generator and you start the generator, now you're walking around with a exposed power. That if you touch something, it could be kind of like reversing your extension cord and having the prongs hot when you're walking around with it. That's not really a good thing. We'll look into that.
In the final analysis, it would require replacement of that cord with.
Put the proper plug on the end.
Put the proper plug in the end. That's also gonna mean we're gonna have to change the receiving part, into the system. Because they're backwards.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, yes.
Okay, the other part is Tubby's, which I think's been talked to death. We had the opportunity to talk to Randy outside, and we feel a little bit better about what we got, or what you're getting. Because we really, I tried to get some information from Jody. If he was here, I would say the same thing, and I didn't get much out of him. Just that, well, we're looking into, well, okay, we are the certified operators of the system. You gave us a contract to take care of it. When DEP inspects the plants, they also ask us about the stations. So we need to know what's going on as well. And I still don't know, or we don't know, a time frame for any of this. Because every day this thing is not working. We just came from there this evening and pumped it down. So, and I don't know what Jody's billing, because I called him to see if they could do anything about it. So I don't know if you're getting a bill every day, but I'm talking to him almost every day. Now we're stopping, you're paying us to stop it once a week, but we've been stopping every day to look at it, pump it down. It's stripped or it's not stripped.
Let's see if we can't catch up with him tomorrow.
So we need to hear something about it's coming in August or next week or something, because at some point, it may be that it does not work at all. Okay, I'm just trying to emphasize the importance of a time frame here. The other thing is, I guess there's a little mix-up in what's in there, what's not in there, how old they are. I was told that the last pump they put in, which is in slot 2, which is the only one that operates now, number 1 is shut off, and Jody told me it's burned up. I was told when it was put in some 2 months ago approximately, that was a brand new, not rebuilt, brand new pump. And his guy Jeremy said the manual is down on the skid. I wanted the manual, but I never did get it. Jody said it disappeared, or somebody said it disappeared. I guess what we're saying is, when the project's finished and that pump's still operable, don't throw it away or lose track of it. It may work at King Court. I don't really know what it is. It doesn't seem like anybody knows what it is yet, but Jody.
I think it's compatible to other pumps, from what I'm understanding. Just a little bit I'm reading.
We don't know. We assumed it was a grinder pump, which Jody says it isn't, but our little discussion out in the hall was DEP usually doesn't allow it either to put a sewage pump hooked to an 1.5-inch pipe. They always require a grinder. But he says it's not a grinder, but I don't know if it is or isn't. But I do know that if the pump, as I was told, was only 2 months old and it was brand new, let's not get rid of it.
Right.
And if there is something wrong, then maybe you can take it back to Orchard your pump and get a new one. They're pretty forgiving down there.
Down there.
What else? Got anything on that?
So what's your pump down?
Huh?
What's your pumps down?
Yes, Lower Allen. But I wouldn't get rid of it or let it get thrown out. nor, we discussed, Henry, the rails are stainless steel.
Right.
I know you're hearing the rails are worn out, the rails aren't worn out.
It's the
The
brackets.
supports are worn out. For whatever reason people do this, they put stainless steel rails in, attached with a ferrous product that rots away, and then you
I
got
would
a
like to
rail.
I'd like to figure out how I can get my fingers on some of them.
Well, I don't know if I'd throw them away either, because you have them in other places
I understand,
too.
but I'd like to get a hold of the ferrous part.
Well, you'll have to talk to IJ Tech, because I won't say they don't communicate. I wouldn't say that in front of Jody if he was sitting here, but I've
Right.
lost something here in the picture.
After, yeah.
You know, tell me what's going on, you know, so we
Just
know,
like,
because
just like our issue that we had up there.
I could have us just ride by there and do our once a week and just forget about it until you get a call and says, hey, Lou, what's going on? There's sewage all over the ground. I really don't want to do that to either one of us, any of us. So we've been popping in there. But I'm going to scream loud when nothing happens. So then we're down to, I don't know, if there's no pump to put in, or it is the control panel, which we also suspect. I'm going to have to call Kleins in a pinch and say pump it out to keep us all. You know how DEP can be, so friendly and smiley, happy, understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, outstanding.
That's how it was
We
when
got
you
to
were
do
there.
that.
Yeah, we didn't, I hope it was that bad.
It was
We
changed,
still have to hook up that redundant alarm that Jody put in because, well, we anticipated, again, using some of the existing conduit. We're still fine. We still think we can, so we're trying to keep the cost down and piggyback some of that. So we're working on that. And we also do strongly recommend the alarm system for code. And what else do we have? All kinds of things. Purchase and install that sampler. Also, something Randy said a while ago, and I'm going to say this. You have to get composite samples, influent and effluent. And Randy probably would know that, but about that. If you're not getting as many samples, let's just say, or as good as a sampler can take it, I'll put it that way, as efficiently as many, you may get a stronger sample here and there, and that could be affecting what Randy's talking about.
Right.
This could help with that. Do you agree with that, Randy? We would strongly recommend you consider that as well as soon as you could. And speaking of samplers, and I shouldn't even say this, Jim's going to hit me when I say it. It's about this phosphorus thing. The results are only as good as the way they were sampled.
Right.
And
So if
that's
they're
an
taking
issue
a
I'm wondering
grab
about
sample,
too.
these things you can.
Uh-oh.
I'm done. Any questions? There you go.
All right.
Any questions at all?
Thanks for the help, I appreciate it.
I will say, for the benefit of the people who didn't visit us, you did a heck of a job and got really dirty and scared me, but the man certainly knows how to do plumbing, I will tell you that.
I've been through a couple bad ones already.
You know plumbing, I know my
You know your,
stuff.
yeah, your stuff.
Quarters.
I will say that we were doing strategic planning in regards to tank failures and issues that come at hand. A few things I'm going to mention here in front of the engineer is the little bit I'm starting to look at things and how I see them and how they operate and how things are. And I understand that when things do go, if and when they do go south, the issues that could occur with DEP and the amount of work that we will need you to do. I need to be comfortable, not to be offensive, Randy, but there's two different ways this thing could be piped out. And it can be done very simple, it can be done very easily, and it can be done in a very timely manner. And the ideologies of what DEP's requesting, I'm not so sure that I shouldn't take the time and bypass you and go talk to them people. I'm sorry, for us to tell you what we want and you spend time drawing it up and everything else and we put it in,
No, I don't
You
have,
understand what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say, Randy? A tank's
Well-
a tank, and I can get the tank hooked up, get it into the system, and get it to operate the way it
No.
should be. And I'm not being sarcastic to you, but in the same atmosphere, I don't know the idiocies of what they think about either. I'm at a wit's ends with this because
no, and I don't have any problem with that, Henry, but I will tell you, and probably Elmer will agree to this, whatever you do has to be, somebody has to have a professional engineer's seal on it. Okay.
I figured that's where it was going. I understand that.
I'm going through that right now with 2 other projects where they're commercial properties, and they've done all the information, but they can't submit it because it has
And
to.
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. I mean,
yeah.
we
No, what I
we
think.
can take some of the labor off of
Yeah,
this.
no, what I think is prudent is that you've given it the forethought. What I would do, and I don't have a problem with this, is that I would draw up schematically what you want to do as far as Plan A or Option A or Plan B, Option B, or if there's even a third option, and then talk to them about, say, hey, we're being proactive on this because we see that there's going to be an issue, and we don't know when that issue is going to occur. And I think if you approach them in that regard, they'll appreciate that effort more than coming in after the fact and just throwing something together and then trying to get it permitted, you know. But ultimately, and I understand, and I take no offense to it. You want to save money
Right.
and time, and but ultimately, what they're going to
And
say.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
You got to be the final say on it
Yeah.
because you got to put the stamp on it. And I
Right.
understand it, but I mean, I think there's a possibility we can get some legwork out of this.
No, and I agree. I don't know. I don't feel that we need to be involved because, number one, it's going to cost you more money that maybe you don't really want to spend or have. And the other thing is that and you have an idea of what you want. So for you to convey that to me and to draw it up and then go back and forth, no, I really wanted this, and from a schematic standpoint, I think that's fine.
My biggest question for you, are those tanks part of the time cycle of treatment, or is the 4-log 100%?
Well, the 4-log is where you get the treatment, not in the tanks, and
Okay,
that's been
so-
You mean the
demonstrated.
contact?
Yeah,
Contact
the
time.
4-log
So
contact
the
time.
tanks have nothing to do with contact time.
No, where the tanks are, they float on the system based upon demand,
They won't give you anything for that.
no, they're not giving us anything for that.
So you don't get-
And-
Okay, so
okay.
here's an example. There's a T down at the well pit.
Yeah,
I can physically get down there
Mhm.
and run that T off the top and put 2 tanks in there, freshwater tanks, and let them do their job down there instead of buried in the ground.
right. We-
And the system would operate 100% if I could get the valve shut off to the other tanks and just jump her around.
Right.
Very simple.
But
You mean if they fail?
If they fail.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what I'm trying to say is we have areas and
contingency,
ways
yeah.
of doing stuff.
You're saying set up an emergency plan in case. Is that what
Right,
you're
that's
talking
what I
about,
did.
really?
Yes,
Okay.
we've got,
And
we've
give Randy the
we've got-
schematic and make sure if
we've
it
kind of got a
happens,
skid
he can
idea.
permit.
Yeah.
We'll have to get it permitted anyway.
Right, that's what I'm saying, because what you've done now is you changed, I had this happen, I had a client who went in and changed out a tank, DEP fined him
There's no
$4,000.
doubt about that. That's
Because
what
they just
happened.
went in and changed something, even though it's,
We can't do that. We gotta communicate with them.
right.
And I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
what's the best way to communicate with them instead of having
Well, we need to talk more about this.
coffee and
At some
donut
time.
discussions between you and them, and then we get a check for it. And I'm not being social. I mean, and
Yeah,
then
no, I
there's no
understand.
results for it. I mean,
Right.
when you guys put the stamp on it, I want the results for it. I mean, that's
Right, no, no, I have no problem with that, and I don't think Phil would have a problem with that. It's just being more
I mean, I
cost
don't mind you
effective.
getting a little bit of coffee and donuts, but I don't want
Well,
a lot of it, you know?
Number one, on the record, you can't have coffee and donuts with DEP because they won't allow that to happen. Right, Elmer?
We'd have to pay for it.
Well, no, there isn't any mispropriety.
I said to Barclay, he wouldn't even come in the restaurant and
Right.
eat with me.
Yeah,
When we went stop for lunch, he says, I'll wait out here.
yeah, because they will not go
And I
that
understand
route.
that,
But
but-
I'm just teasing you. I'm not.
And I'm kind of messing with you too, but in the same atmosphere, we've tossed a lot of stuff around when we were up there.
Yeah,
looking at things and saying this and saying that and saying this and saying that.
Well, what I think it does is it opens the dialogue between DEP and yourself to say maybe what they're even willing to accept. Not that we go down a road and then, wow, that's not acceptable, you know, and then we're under emergency condition, we gotta get something in there.
But
So
what you're basically told me with these tanks makes me feel a lot better because they're not part of
Right.
the contact time.
But they're part of the process.
And I
That's why they gotta be permitted, because
But I
you're
mean-
changing the process.
And I understand that.
Even
but-
though it's the same type of tank, it just might be
And
a
I-
different
and-
volume or,
And I want
yeah.
to classify what I'm trying to say here to the board.
Yeah,
These are a two-pipe system, pipe in and a pipe out of the
Right.
tank. You can take this whole system and run a line straight through the building, run a line straight up, and tie into two tanks with one pipe. They absorbs the energy, releases the energy.
right.
Easier, simpler, okay? But, and I agree with him, it's got to be planned and drawn, and he has to put the stamp on it.
Right.
But there's no reason for him to do the engineering when we can draw it up, propose it, and
Right.
and there's no reason for him to do the work when we have the ability to do it, as long as it's okayed, stamp it,
No.
we're good. Understand what I'm saying?
What we'll need to do is we'll need to submit submittals on the type of tank, the size of the tank, the pressure ratings of the tank, the operating pressures of the tank, and then how you're going to maintain integrity and keep it from thawing or freezing and you know, so.
I mean, the first thing we got right now is I'm hoping that we can isolate the tanks individually
Yeah,
right now,
right.
so we can buy ourselves a couple weeks or a week till we
Right.
get the other one
No.
online. So that's where I was at with that.
No, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't take any, you know,
Just in case.
I think it's prudent to do that, to be honest with you, and I applaud you guys for that, because I think you need to take
I mean,
those
the next
steps.
project, I'll have Elmer pulling on the pipe wrenches.
So,
I'm gonna read the pressure when we flush.
All right, are we done with you?
I'm done. You can
And
stick a fork
operators,
in me.
We're done with you, okay. Is there anything that we need from these two guys? Three guys,
Keep trying, Lou.
okay? I'm gonna say you can go. We don't need them, Dennis?
I don't think.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you for your
Hey,
time.
thank you. Good night.
All right,
Good night, all.
Thanks. Oh, that's all I can do, you know.
okay, we're gonna go with the DMR master meter report, correspondence, no field representative things. I think everybody else has kind of addressed his issues. I will go with the field representative.
Yeah, Randy, see
See ya.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Issues, I was looking at the bills here a little bit, if you take a look at what they're charging on the flushing, okay? We already got the PA1 calls taken care of, running in a different direction, okay? We are also in the process of discussing how the chairman and the vice chairman are discussing how we are thinking about how we might be able to partake in taking over some of the flushing. Okay? I'm not sure how intense it is, or the details of it, but I do believe that it would be a financial savings because of,
It's all labor.
it's all labor, okay? And it's two people, okay? Even if we had one of our people and one of IJ Tech's people, you cut the cost down by 50%. Okay, there's two options that we can go here. And that's the discussion that I think we ought to discuss first. I mean, we may want to go one-on-one for a little bit, till we learn how it works. And then we may want to go 100% away from it. I don't know or we can just go 100% away from it. Our previous operator offered to work with us in regards to that. I don't know what the wish of the body is for that. I thought about it both ways. I've not been around the flushing. I'm going to give it a chance, but I've not been involved in it. And everything we do must go through the operators and notify that it's gonna happen.
Right.
Okay? I'm thinking that we would say, we put a whole week's window in, say we're gonna do flushing. We address if we can do it in the evenings, which suits me more. You might be able to pick, say, 2 nights out of the week. You flush it one time, one area. for a couple hours, and then you flush another area for a couple hours, and you're done. Say you take 2 hours or 3 hours one night, you take 2 hours or 3 hours the next night, and it should, I'm thinking a 6-hour window should flush everything. Okay, now I mean, if you go with IJ Tech, one-on-one, it's gonna have to be a daytime thing, one-on-one, okay? The idea is we put a new gauge on the tank, and we need to watch the pressure as it goes. We cannot zero it out. We cannot lose water flow.
Right.
That's the most critical. And then everybody says it takes so long to recover. There is a recovery time, but even with Lou and me, I was surprised how fast it did recover. We thought that we were gonna be there another hour longer than what we were. I don't know if that's because we opened up openings in the tank to feed the tank more. I don't know if that helped. I don't know what the issue was, but it wasn't as bad as what we thought it was to bring it back up online. So it worked out a lot better. So just whatever we wish to do here,
I don't care. I mean, I told you, I know. I can read a gauge.
all right, let me get with Ed, see what we can do. I'll get with Jody in regards to that, and we'll try to run from there. But if we're gonna do it, it's gonna end up being evening work. You understand what I'm trying to say, Jim? Because it's, I mean, there might be times that I have the ability to do it during the day, but I think we just put a status call out for the whole week and give everybody a heads up that they'll be flushing for the whole week, and then hopefully we can get everything done in that week. That saves us the swift reach calls and everything else every time we decide we want to flush. So we do the major flush in a week's time, and then the point flushes we can probably do just by notifying them
To certain customers.
and certain customers. You know, they're short dead legs. I don't know which way you want to go. I'll talk to Will. If he decides we got to put that swift reach out again, fine.
That's only about $5-6 to send it to everybody on the hill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
It's safer to call
right
than not
now,
call.
it's easier to do that than, then she'd have to start, it'd be tough. Now we have to say, well, now we only want to notify these 4 customers, so now you've got to group them.
Right.
And so you,
Okay,
it works, it's just as cheap to.
I understand. Okay, thank you. All right, Penn Township Supervisors Report. None for them. All right, Dennis, you're up.
Well, we went over some of the things on my list already, most of them. On the collection side, I started 3 sales. Number 9, 10, no, I'm sorry, 11, 13,
No, she put those in that order again.
why I had so much trouble. And the last 2, 319 and 1024.
And those checks, don't forget to take them today because they're here.
Yeah, I was under the gun. I forgot the authority was closed Friday, and then there was a holiday Monday. I didn't want to miss our deadline to get those 3 started, so I advanced the sheriff's calls.
Oh, that's
to get
right.
them going. They're underway.
Yeah.
Already, one of them has called me for a payoff to pay it. I think you got your first check from the new owner of the trailer park.
It came in today,
Good.
Plus the
Wow.
regular bill,
$11,285.50.
so that was the 10 plus the.
Well, 4,198 she took off immediately for fees.
For fees and so forth, right, yep. I
Okay,
had
Susan,
given
how
her
many
my
units
first
do we have up there?
There are 23 lots. There are 23 lots. 3 of them are on Lincoln Street, and the borough bills them for sewer. So for years, since I've been on here, we charge them for 20 lots for sewer, because the borough charges them for 3. And then they get billed bulk water for however many coaches are there. And I don't know how many coaches are there because we never found out, so that's why they get billed for 20.
Yeah, and that's the number that we've been billing, and plus one, the house that's there too.
Well, yes, it's a separate
So
account number.
It's a separate account number.
Does that include the 23, does include the house?
No.
No,
No, okay.
no, we're just talking, there's 23 lots set up on the trailer park.
But 3 of them aren't ours to bill.
No,
so I can't-
for sewer.
For sewer. So we billed 20 on the 20 trailers plus a house.
Yes.
You can't count 23 trailers up. You can't even count 23 trailers up there.
No, he reported when he was here last month or the month before that there were only 14 or 16.
Well,
And I say there's a new one in place.
we need to, when he gives us some kind of proof, then we can adjust the billing accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just,
I mean, that's up to him to come to us now.
he's not gonna be able to go over 20 without doing
Yeah.
some things.
But going up
We're
around.
billing him on the
going
meter
up
anyway,
around
aren't we?
on the
What?
right,
We're billing him on
For
the meter.
water.
garage up there.
For water.
For water,
Right
yeah.
water.
outside.
Yeah, we're talking about sewer.
Oh, okay.
Right now, we're billing him for 20 coaches, but there's probably not 20.
Oh, okay.
Dennis, did you say that you are not listing 910 for sheriff's sale? Because that's over the threshold.
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
No, that one I did not. When Karen and I talked, there were payments being made, or a payment was made. No, wait a minute.
There's two different
There's
people.
3 there.
There's 2 different Scott Howells.
I think it was 910 that had made a payment. I'll double check that though.
Okay, because 1129 is marked as making payments. But these that are,
Yes, and maybe I was mistaken. I'll double check that, and if it isn't, then we'll get it going.
now these that are marked here with making payments, how consistent are they and how current are they as far as payment wise?
Well, Smart just made one. Mike Roush just made one. Joseph Stein just made one. Sherlock's just came in.
Yeah, I've been kind of letting Karen tell me if,
Yeah, we're getting-
if her patience level is exhausted,
We're getting
she'll tell me.
we're getting
Yeah.
payments from them,
Okay.
where she's saying that.
Yeah, she and I will communicate at least once a month or more
Oh,
often about it.
More than that.
Yeah, and if she's losing, well, I don't know if she has less patience than me or more, but I think she's pretty good at knowing when, that enough's enough here. I've been
Yes.
misled or deceived or, whatever, let's go. And then we go.
Yeah.
Number 42, I think is odd. It's a $10 difference from last month. So do
Yes.
they not realize that it went from 60 to 70 and they're still paying 60?
There's a number of people who are still paying 60 on our, especially the
numbers.
people who have their bank just automatically send it in.
Oh, it wasn't updated with
And
the
they just,
bank.
yes.
That could, that makes sense.
And so slowly Karen's calling them, to let them know.
I'll tell you though, I know in other authority collection work or sewer bill work I do, when there's increases, there are some customers that say, you know what? I'm gonna keep paying the old rate. You have to say, well, you can't just keep paying the old rate. It went up.
Sure, go ahead.
But yeah,
We'll look up on our list.
it's just,
The reason that she had to estimate this,
I don't agree with an increase.
she gets her delinquent
I don't
accounts
agree
when
with
I
increasing
close out
gas
and
prices
get ready to
either.
do sewer bills. But because that was the end of the month yesterday, and I'm not sending out sewer bills till Friday, and I'm giving them a grace period.
Where you go.
So
Yeah.
she didn't get a
hopefully
delinquent
if-
letter from me.
If
That's
this
why it's estimated.
$10,000 payment keeps happening, as we expect it to,
Yeah.
the numbers are gonna keep looking a little better here.
By the end of the year, that'll be paid off. That'll be the 70,000 will be done.
Yeah, and then you'll be down to, somewhere in the 40s, which hopefully even less than that if we
Well,
get some of these other ones.
Not
going.
necessarily. You got 1201 on there. That's going to jack it up in a hurry.
1201.
Yeah,
No,
because that's not going to pay.
Mike Ward.
Oh, oh.
Dennis, we need to,
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
we need to think about our options with that.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, I'll
I
send,
mean, we're over on EDUs, we're over on non-payment, okay?
We're not paying escrow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
even if he just took care of the original escrow and we wiped everything else out on Randy, would
Henry, just make him put another line in. So he has 2 lines, I don't have enough, or maybe 3 lines,
God,
right?
The problem we had getting
Let
one
me
line
see.
in. Oh,
Let me
God.
see, I will follow up with him about this check, and if that's not materialized here in the next,
I mean,
this week, we'll lower the bill. Yeah, I
because,
agree.
I mean, he's soon gonna get a bill
Yep.
for more capacity.
Yep.
Sure.
And tell him
That's
we've
good.
been avoiding that, but he's gonna get nailed with that,
Something's gonna happen.
okay? I mean, something's
Something
gotta
has
happen
to
there.
Put that meter on the well,
Yep, and then
get
we'll
that done,
get some
and
data.
see where,
Yep, I
what's
agree.
coming in versus what's going out. And then we know,
Then we know
we
more.
have a leg to stand on for billing for more capacity.
At that point, I think you know what you need to know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that payment issue, because that is getting to be a problem.
Dennis, I have a really stupid question, just because I'm dumb. On this one here, it says waiting for certified judgment. What's a certified judgment?
That's the judgment that comes after the appeal period runs. When you file with the district justice, you get a judgment, they have 30 days to appeal.
Okay.
If they don't appeal within the 30 days, then the district justice has to certify that the judgment is unappealed.
Okay,
Then
okay,
you can
gotcha.
take that document to the Perry County Courthouse, file it as a judgment with the prothonotary.
Okay.
The prothonotary won't accept it unless the
Unless
bill
it's
is
certified.
certified.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's the
And
first
like
I ever
our
saw that, and I
senior-
go, what is that?
It's a little weird, but it's the process.
Well,
Sometimes it's not that easy.
She put that on there because we've been waiting for a while on that.
Then
Oh,
some
really?
people-
Okay.
That's a problem. Okay.
Yeah,
Should
oh,
never
yes.
No. Nope.
Takes a signature.
Agree with you.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else. We went over pretty much everything else I have on other parts of your agenda.
Is there a new owner? I don't think that's sold, did it? Is that bank owned yet, 1159 Chad Smith? Down
It
there?
is, and I'm still trying to follow up about the septic thing. That's been a process. Trying to deal with the banks. It's just,
Understand.
it's a process.
Okay, so that has not yet been sold, that is still bank owned?
It's still bank owned.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, that
I'm sure
means
they
it's
would-
still vacant, so it still needs to be fixed before somebody moves in.
Yeah, I think the front window is broken.
No, it's not vacant. I thought that Annette Lesher's living there, isn't it?
Who?
Well, it says making payments. Maybe Bank of New York is making the
Yeah.
payments. Okay. Well, Annette Lesher's living in one of them that were bank owned.
I have that marked down here to update too, though. on that septic.
Okay, anything else for you, Dennis?
Yep.
All right, treasurer's report. We pretty much took care of the discussions on delinquencies, that kind of overlaps each other.
Well, that's just because that's where she puts it under the treasurer.
Okay, well,
So I'll tell her to move it up if I think about it.
well, that's fine, leave
Doesn't
it
matter.
there, but I mean, that way if Dennis ain't here, it still gets discussed.
Yes, that's
Okay?
true.
It's just saves, it's kind of the last thing Dennis talks about,
Yeah,
first thing you do, so it works good where it's at, okay?
Yep.
Monthly invoices?
There are four gaps you'll see in the middle of them, 2 for the operator and 2 for IJ Tech. Because yesterday was the last day of the month and the meeting's today, I needed to get, and because I had a Ash Wednesday breakfast this morning, I was running. I ran all the financials yesterday, and it was at 6:30 this morning when their emails were dated. So in the folder are their checks.
Yes, I seen that, yeah.
And I'm just gonna ask that they get signed tonight, and they'll be on next month's report.
Both of the operator and the,
Yes, there's 2 of them. There's the field rep for his flushing services, and then there's $10,000 worth of grinder repairs. And the regular operator retainer services, and then he did some additional, he was called out on
Yeah.
emergency things and for the generators
Yeah,
and,
Tubby's is really doing a number right now.
yeah. So the bills were only 56,000 this month,
Excluding those.
excluding those. Now, we
Right.
knew, it's $10,000, yes. Had they gotten those in earlier, $10,000 just for grinder pumps.
So you're looking at, it's gonna be substantially more than that.
Oh, next month, you're gonna be high.
Okay, question I got for you. Can you send this out to us as soon as you get it updated?
Oh, I could update it now just by taking those checks and adding the code
No,
on here.
but I mean, I'm happy if you just update it and give us a,
All right, the reason I didn't update it was because I just closed out the month and I figured I wrote the checks
Fine,
on
fine.
March
If
1st.
everybody's happy with it, that's fine.
Is that all right? Because the checks
Okay.
are dated for March 1st now.
Yep, understand, okay?
So it'll just be next month.
So Susan, we have 2 Penn Vest loans remaining, is that right?
That is correct.
And one of them is due to be retired when?
4 years from now.
Let's take
4
care of the,
years-
let's
4
take care of the
years from now.
invoices here
That'll
first,
be,
Helen.
yeah, we got the invoices and then we'll talk about these.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Then we'll talk about them. I
Okay.
got them right
Okay?
here.
Let's take care of the invoices first.
Make a motion, the orders be drawn, the bills be paid.
Second.
Regularly moving second to pay the bills. Any discussion? All
Okay.
those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Suzie, tell me who did those.
I
Opposed?
needed Elmer second.
All right, Elmer, answer your question. Yes, I understand what you're saying. You were asking about these on the top. The top one of $7,196 is going to go away in 4 years.
Okay,
All right, and we'll discuss that next.
okay.
The financial report, what Elmer's talking about is on the very back, down at the bottom. I have the outstanding debts listed there. For the first time, you're under 5 million. I thought that's kind of nice, you know? You'll see that the second one, the first one is your Water Street bill. That's only $240 a month. So that goes till 2032. The next one goes to December in 4 years. That's the 1991 bill for putting sewer into Lower Duncannon, and I think Sunshine Hill.
Oh, okay. Lower Duncannon and Sunshine Hill.
Yes, that grant was taken out 27 years ago, that loan, for $1 million and something. I took the folders back already, and I just forgot.
Okay. So 4 years we're done with that.
Yes. And then the bottom one is your Susquehanna Hills, Perdix, Penn Manor one, and it's down to $4,500,000.
How many years is that?
Well, it's not gonna be done till August of 2037.
Another 20 years.
I'm not, yeah,
sign
we've only
the
had it
last
for
check.
10 years.
Oh,
So basically every 5 years.
Yeah,
you do
20 years.
we aren't gonna be here then.
20 years.
close, you know what I'm saying? That's kinda how it's working out.
All right.
It was a 30-year, 1% loan. Now, the good news that I can say for this is that you have, well, except without those bills. Had those bills been on it, we'd be different, but without those bills, you have $29,000 more than you had at the beginning of the year.
Well, great.
Well, you had some money coming in. Some people have been paying off like $1,000, $2,000. Also, you got 2 tapping fees this month for $7,000. Up on Susquehanna Hills. John Tasker had 2 lots up on St. John's Road,
Good,
and they have been sold. And
Good.
somebody came in this week and paid the tapping fees.
good.
So,
And speaking of tapping fees, there's still a list out there, right?
Yes, it's in that
It's in that
folder right
folder.
there, yes.
but it's dwindling. There are very few people paying tapping fees yet because,
But there are some who have not paid in years.
yes,
So that's,
Yeah, we
that
should-
list that's in there is still owed us.
yes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dollars in there on tapping.
It
Right
is
here
a
it
lot
is,
of
Elmer,
dollars
isn't
because of the people who
Yep,
haven't,
that's it.
who haven't paid, but boy, remember when the list was the whole page and then the back?
This is true, yeah.
I mean,
But
it's,
we-
people have been just paying faithfully and they've got it paid off.
11.
There's probably
Well, there's
time
one
to
that ain't gonna do,
take a look at that, though. I
Yeah.
should take a look at that.
10.
Yes, pass that
Yeah.
around to the solicitor and he can see that. That's something that we need to talk about too, because
Yeah.
the original, it was $2,620. Wasn't it 2620?
2650, 20,
Something like that was what they,
$26.50, I think.
what they originally agreed to finance.
Yeah, there's a few on here that are,
Remember what you
moving.
paid for your
no,
tapping
I
fee?
didn't see what,
may need a
think it
gentle
was a
reminder.
26.
at
Something.
least, yeah.
Huh?
Wasn't it 2,600 for tapping fee?
I thought it was
2650?
3,000.
Oh, yours would have been, no,
3,000.
yours should have been lower than that.
I thought it was 3,000.
No, it's what it is now.
At the time
Well,
these were
now,
done, it
but that
was,
back then.
Yours should have been 1700.
Yeah, I think it was
1700.
1750 or something like
No,
that.
mine was more than that.
2150 then.
Where did this come to?
Something went up, they went up like
What's
$500.
that?
Right there in the
at a
file.
pop.
It just
Oh,
goes in
right
that,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't-
It's the
I don't
correspondence
remember
folder.
that.
You
All right,
must have built before
I'm
I
done, sir. Unless, oh, your financial report,
2, 3.
you'll probably want it
Or,
subject to
yeah.
audit.
Yes,
1970.
Yeah, because I'll make a motion, we accept the
1973.
financial report subject to audit.
do I hear?
Second.
Okay, it's been regularly moved to accept the financial report subject to audit. All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you, Susan. Okay. Executive Secretary's report.
No, she didn't do anything.
Okay, JOAC meeting, March 16th. Okay, Duncan Borough. Meeting 15th and meeting 16th.
There's 2 nice hour killers.
What's the 15th?
Township.
Incoming, outgoing correspondence, reporter articles, old business, Smith property, we kind of talked about that already. We've already talked about Duncan Beer Company. Okay, new business, the abatement, 29 Mountain Street.
I don't know that. Was there a letter in
There's
here?
a letter, it should be right close to the top, maybe this, I think it's right into the chapter 94 report.
Okay. Oh, from Charles Morrison. See, I didn't know that came in.
Yes.
From Charles Morrison. Charles Morrison has been a resident of Stonebridge Health and Rehab Center. He will remain there as he is not able to remain in his house. Please consider no longer charging his residents $70, as again, his residence has been and will remain uninhabited. Karen wrote here that the water was turned off and it was confirmed by the borough on February the 7th, 17. The water was turned off a year ago, but she just got it confirmed from the borough. Charles Morrison.
What is
What are they
the
doing?
wish?
What are they gonna do with the property?
I don't know that. Probably wait until he dies and then, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you do have the abatement for people, to pass away, you have that 1 year or until it's occupied.
Yeah, and a fire abatement.
But it doesn't, when its literal terms wouldn't apply to this, it'd be kind of nice to know what their intentions are.
Well, we just did it for Mrs. Kisner,
Yes.
who said that she's not, she had the electricity turned off and the water turned off. We don't know about the electricity here.
I hope they drain their pipes.
But they're not doing the actual disconnect and expected to pay.
No, we didn't make, Mrs. Kisner wasn't required to do that.
Well,
I mean, we did this due to the, it's almost like a death, basically speaking. It's,
A terminal situation. I'll make a motion that we abate those charges at
Okay.
29 Mountain Street.
Second.
been regularly moved and seconded to abate the charges for 29 Mountain Street. All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
How will we know if it's reoccupied?
Well,
The borough always lets you know, don't they, Susan, with the water?
yeah, this is the only one now. This one and the Kisner one are the only ones that we have that the water's turned off. I believe it's in a tickler file.
I was gonna say,
I'm gonna
maybe
write
it'd be
that
a
on
good
here.
idea, Yeah, to put have a
Tickler,
file that every quarter, maybe of something on the agenda, just a reminder that we look at it.
I'm putting that on here now.
Was that account current? It
Yes.
Must have been.
Yes.
I've never seen anything about that.
Yeah, they've been paying it.
So that's nice of them to have done that.
Okay. Number 2, grinder pump ownership.
That's probably a carryover, I think.
Yeah, Susan, weren't you gonna
I was-
put some numbers or?
I was going to get a list of how many things, but I didn't copy off my I didn't copy off my my email to you. I'm still working on it, and it's hard to come up with an exact
Okay,
count right now.
let's keep moving with this in
Table
regards to our ideas with this. What would be the, well, I know we've talked about a couple different ways about this, okay? Susan suggested a couple ways. I think I threw some stuff out there off and on. I mean, there's many different ways we can address this. Okay? If we turn around, we can do it in a 6-month interval, 9-month interval, 12-month interval, okay? We can do it that give them 6 months and say it's gonna be turned over to you. That's the way it's gonna be. We can turn around and give them a warranty with parts. They pay for the labor for an extended amount of time or something, you know what I'm saying? The concern I got is if we don't put something in some form, you may find people in there trying to manipulate the system to fail,
So they get a new one.
so they get a new one. That was a concern that I have on my thought process. I don't know if anybody else has that. That being, that's why I was kind of thinking maybe a little longer warranty with us just picking up the parts and they pick up the labor. You know what I'm saying? That puts that responsibility, it changes that process, so to speak. They end up having to pay for.
The idea is to get the rest of them turned back to the
Right.
customer.
Yes,
Instead of going around
within a
like we-
year,
In
because
some time frame.
we gotta
Instead of-
save
I
$57,000.
hear you.
Instead of like we were gonna do it in phases and have Judy go down through and evaluate everything,
Yeah.
we'll change the window of parameters here and make this work, you know what I'm saying?
Jody charges $65 an hour, so if he can only do two, I forget what my email said, but it was gonna cost $5,000 for him to check them all. There's about 180 of them down there. That's a lot of money where, you know, for him to just say, yeah, this is a good one, and that's when I thought of the idea of giving him some kind of a warning. You know, you get it, and we'll give you, if something goes wrong within 180 days, however long, 6 months, we'll repair it, but then it's yours after a certain date.
One way or the other.
What?
One way or the other, it's yours after they.
That's right, there is a certain, yes, however you want to do it, whether
If
you
it
want
fails
to.
within that window, we will fix it, and at that point, upon that time when you fix it, it becomes 100% yours.
We can give them a loaner while theirs is being fixed, because we've got them. And I believe DEP requires us to keep
From
so
what I
many.
understand, they require that we keep something on stock. Okay?
Yes, 10%, I believe, of however many we have, we're supposed to keep 10%. But, you know, when they're there, when they own them, we can give them one as a loaner while theirs is being fixed.
So what's the wish of the board? Because I think this is March meeting, you're running a quarter right now. If we, you know, it's kind of nice to operate our parameters within quarters. Do we want to make a motion on something that we implement it?
We just got a bill this month for his grinder pump repair, was $10,000.
Yeah.
That was for the month of February.
That's 1 month, and last year
It was $57,000 for the year.
So we're gonna,
Okay? I
Believe
mean, we
that
might as well
part.
face the possibility that we're gonna have that same bill this year till the end
Oh,
of
at
the year.
least, I
Okay?
double, I,
So what I'm trying to say is we ought to try to come up with a way that we can make this go away upon our new budget.
And make it as easy on
the people.
the
Yes,
people as
yes.
possible.
Yep.
Maybe your idea is as good as anything, about swinging it out 180 days and
I mean, we need to-
pick up a,
Come January 1st, we should make this go away. I don't care if we drag it even out to that point. Because we kind of got the budget for that. I won't say it's the right budget, but it's been budgeted. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
so that would, if we
We just
start-
gotta figure out how we make this structure, okay? Do we say,
But I don't know how much, I think we only budgeted 50, I think that something got screwed up with that budget. I gotta start carrying my stuff around with me, like
I'm hoping
Cece,
it's in here.
you know.
It may not be.
I need to get a laptop and just keep it for
Yeah,
work.
I guess
or
you
just-
want, if you're gonna make it effective December 31, you wanna get enough notice, you wanna get as much notice out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
9 months now.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If
Yep.
you operate by quarters, it gives you a full 9 months to make this come together, okay? Now, how do you build a structure and make it come together for 9 months? Do you turn around and give them 3 months, 100% warranty, and then give them 6 months
Parts and labor.
parts and labor? We pick parts, we take care of the parts, they pick up the labor, okay?
What's so funny?
It's not funny.
I didn't think so.
We budgeted 50,000 for this year.
Yeah, I don't know
We've
why.
already chewed up.
A fifth of it.
Fifth of it?
Well, just in 1 month, what did we have last month?
Well, that's
No.
true.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Wasn't there?
No, he
Yeah,
didn't
but-
he didn't send us a bill for grinder pumps last month.
Well, it's 2 months into the year, really, so yeah, well, 2 months into it.
We got 1,000 and 10,000.
But yeah, 9 months notice, I agree with you.
We got 11,000 in here.
Okay. Now, how do we format
Yeah, how
that
do you-
9 months? You see what I'm getting at? Do you take 3 months, 100% warranty on it, and then go 6 months?
Well, we got,
We do the parts, they do the labor.
all right, when are you gonna start? April? April, May, June, July, August, September, October,
Should
November,
start,
December.
should,
April.
April Fool's Day.
yep,
Oh, God.
okay, we can send it out with, when's billing go out, Susan?
Well, it doesn't count. You're gonna have to send them a letter,
Okay,
because I can't, I can put a little tiny message on a postcard, but not much.
okay.
Although the way it probably, yeah.
I mean,
It's on full
I'll,
warranty for 3 months, and then, okay.
It's a shame we just missed the township news letter too,
yeah. But I mean,
for notification purposes.
okay, I mean, that's my suggestion. If you wish I'd make a motion, I can make a motion on that, or if somebody wish to come up with a different motion. I'm open.
Say,
I-
not in the form of a motion, but say, give your idea again, Henny.
3 months, full warranty for the next 3 months.
Okay.
Okay, put you into June.
That's
Right, April, May, June,
Yep.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
The last 6 months of the year, parts only, they pick up the labor.
Okay.
And then effective
And then,
January 1, it's
As
their
of
baby.
January 1,
It's all,
you pay everything, okay.
it's kind of a transition.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
So then after 12/31,
Ask a question? You're more than allowed to ask a question.
When the initial grinder sewage system went, and I'm just thinking down State Road, down past our place, what was the initial contract? What was the township gonna do for the grinder pump? I know we paid for it.
We were gonna maintain them.
For how long?
That was, at that time, most of us weren't even,
I wasn't there.
I don't know that it's specified.
most of us.
There was no
It was
time
10 years ago.
Okay,
specified,
it's, but what happened
We
is.
didn't specify a time.
but you didn't pay
there
for
was no
them.
specific time.
They
No,
came with the
township
project.
provided it, municipal authority
And
did.
most municipalities do not take the responsibility of the grinder pumps,
I think that's true.
okay?
Yes.
There's a few exceptions, and then, from what I understand, most of them are doing everything they can to turn them over to the people, okay?
Yeah,
The grinder pumps themselves work very well, as long as they're not being abused, okay? From everything I understand, they're a 20-year life expectancy. Or more. They're no different than a dosing pump on a sand mound. I mean, some of them run forever, other ones fly apart. I mean, but,
Depends on use sometimes.
huh?
It depends on use.
It depends on
For
you.
whatever reason, when the project was done, the purchase and installation of the pumps was part of the construction, the big construction contract. And that was when the authority got this, with probably a $6 million
It was a $6
loan
million
at
loan.
that time, so it kind of made it easy to just do it all as part of the project.
Yes,
And
it
we
was
didn't
part of the project.
specify, I'm sure we
No.
didn't, there was no specific time frame. And then, of course, as years went by, we started to, I think the first thing was any new, after a transfer of title,
Yes.
the responsibility shifted to the property owner. And there were a couple other iterations of that over the years.
Oh.
And now the board is to the point where it's just.
It costs $57,000
Yeah, you just can't.
to maintain them, and it's gonna go higher, so.
And the bad part is, there are grinder pumps out there on properties that were put in on the initial project that have never had a problem, have never had a service call on them. And then you have others that have had multiple calls. And not because it's a bad pump.
No, they didn't
It's
use
just
the same way that-
misused.
Yeah. Misuse and abuse.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
A lot of it. The
We
ones
should
that
tell
really
somebody
are
drops
a
babies
problem
down
are
here,
the
who's in
ones
cold,
that
so
are
that's what people look at,
abused.
too.
I mean, we can show you pictures, can't we?
Oh, yes.
Of,
Oh, yes.
you know,
But we've been turning those over to them now. It used to be after the first one was on them, then the second time they had to pay for all the repairs. Until the point where it's now, you know, the first time we'll pay for it, the second time it's their pump.
And once they pay for it, are they lasting a lot longer?
Oh, that I don't know.
I don't know.
No, because they pay the
I don't know if we
bill.
have an experience on that, but that's an interesting question.
Mr. Beamer, we haven't, well, 'cause see, he's paying for them, so we don't know.
And a
Okay,
bunch of his
with
property's
that,
empty, too.
with that discussion, we need to make a note that with their failure, if I'm not mistaken, and we may want to look into this, we will furnish a support pump till it's repaired,
Yeah, loaner.
a loaner, okay? That loaner will not exceed a time frame. What is that time frame? I'm thinking 30 days max.
Well, I
Make
guess
it
it would
shorter.
depend on who can get, where they can get it fixed.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, but that, you give them, if we treat them right, we say 30 days, they can either get it fixed and repaired, or have to buy a new one in that 30-day window.
Okay, now, hang on here a second. Well, there's a couple things coming to mind.
Because I'm not too sure by rules that we ain't supposed to be able to supply them with pumps on a standby or a loaner or whatever, you know?
I didn't know that.
Well, DEP requires we have 10%,
Yeah.
so what are you gonna do with that 10%? You're not gonna make them loaners,
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable thing to do.
right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm kind of thinking it's a reasonable.
Because right now,
Hampton
Jody
Township
turns
does that.
around and takes a $1,200 court charge, and he'll put one of his pumps in as a rental or a loaner,
Okay.
so he knows he's getting money out before he rebuilds it back in, because he don't know how he's gonna get paid. Okay, we're not worried about the money side of it, we need to structure a time frame. We will only supply for a window of time frame, and that gives them doing timely repair time. I do not wanna go to the point where we don't have something in there, we're gonna just take the pump and use it till.
Okay, and you're headed the direction of my one concern. And I understand the ramifications of it, but at the same time, there are people out there that don't care. So they've got a malfunction. And they're saying, now the whole bill's on me, and this is gonna cost me a couple $1,000s? I ain't fixing it.
Well,
And
then
we're
we
gonna have
get,
the same situation as we have down on State Road, that we're still dealing with.
Well, then it becomes DEP's issue.
Yeah, and look at the hoops that we jumped through with this problem.
You see what I'm saying?
I know.
But that's technically what
Because
it
it was
is.
running down on the shoulder of the
Yeah,
road.
sure, then it's that's right.
Yeah.
Contamination issue.
I mean,
I don't
that's my suggestion,
So, I mean, then
okay?
how do
I'm
we
looking for
police
something
that?
else. But I think we
No.
ought to make a decision tonight on this to get this
I don't
implemented for
know if
April
there's
1st.
any way to police it, because you don't know that a pump's malfunctioning unless somebody tells you, right? There's no
Right.
warning or
Well, your
signal,
red light,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
your
but
red
you
light goes
don't-
off.
You don't get that, do you? You don't know that's.
You know what,
We-
up there in Sunshine, if my line closed, I just, you know, I don't treat the thing, it's my,
Very
it's
simple
my
use.
business, I have to call the plumber, I have to pay for the new pipe, I have to do all that, and nobody, township doesn't come and say, oh, we're gonna fix it for 30 days for you. What?
The only thing that happened is, there was an agreement before any of us were on the board, and now
Well-
we're trying to work a polite manner of, and we knew this was gonna come. We
Was it an
discussed this many
agreement?
times. Huh?
Is there an agreement? And I'm just asking that because I've never seen anything. I've never seen anything in the files at all that
Well,
say,
it was how, I mean, it was just how it was structured.
it was just implied that, you
And I
know.
don't remember, truthfully, I don't remember why, or even if it was
I think it's
discussed.
crazy. I mean,
I don't remember. If the board at the time even discussed, you know, should we really buy and install these, or should we just let it up to the property owner to do it? It was incorporated into the project.
It was incorporated into the project, it wasn't
I mean, if you just wanna pull the
discussed.
plug and say, come June 1st, they're all yours, fine, well, if that's your option, you have the ability to say this. I threw something out there
He was-
that I kinda thought was
Are we getting hung up on the loaner issue? In other words, I kinda go along with the 3 and 6 month deal, okay? And I think you brought up the issue about the loaner, that they would sit on that.
Well, they have to have a
No, not
loaner.
not necessarily being a loaner.
Maybe I heard.
I'm just saying.
She's just saying
Since
whenever the
he's
pump
concerned,
quits, they
they'll
just forget about it, and keep
they'll
on
just-
running.
They'll just blow it off, yeah, let the sewage go where it goes.
So we end up with
Then
another.
we have a Smith property.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right, exactly.
It depends on how you look at some of them. They're gonna work to a point that the people may not be able to use their household
Right,
anyhow. I mean,
Right,
it
and
depends on
that's-
certain designs,
Right,
they have no choice,
Right.
it's gonna back up.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I think.
yeah, Smith was a little unique because they apparently still had the septic system that they could direct that,
Right,
some of that sewage.
that's right.
Yeah, and the way that was piped, I mean,
Right.
it still flows downhill.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a perfect world.
Did I hear a loaner for 30 days?
Mhm.
Maximum,
Yes.
that would be the maximum.
Well, I wouldn't wanna go more than that.
No, no.
I could go for that. I could go for the 3, 6, and 30.
And 30.
All right, I think it's too much, but I'll go along with it.
I mean, it gets us out of it at the end of the year,
Mhm.
and we've already, in a roundabout way, agreed to it by budget, you know. I'm,
The bigger part of the 6-month deal is gonna be the labor, I would imagine.
Well, no, the labor and the labor in these things is, you're gonna be paying the bulk of the bill. Here's a
the
bill
parts
for
of the things-
$1,300,
Gee.
the labor was $337. So the parts were $1,000.
Oh, jeez. I would've thought it would be better.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
the reason I say parts instead of labor is, the pump then is refurbished 300% and there is no issues,
Right.
okay? There should not be an issue. If we
You're
paid
right.
labor and they paid parts, I got a problem with that, I'm sorry,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you're right, when he puts all these parts in, that should be a new pump.
new
That's
pump.
basically a new pump.
It should be,
And then it's turned over,
it's 100%
Then it's turned over.
you know what I'm saying?
once and done.
So then, if I crush my pipe up there in Sunshine Hills, then I can expect the township to come over and put a new pipe in for me too?
No,
Yep, roots fill it up and you need to
So
call
do we just
somebody
wanna
if you're out of
say
luck.
come April 1st, they're yours and forget about it?
Aren't you gonna come and do mine too?
I mean, we can do it that way, I mean,
You're gonna, you know, what's good for one's good for the other, you know?
that's why you wanna get this
done.
equalized real fast, Elmer, you know, but get the process started here.
I mean, if we can make this go away by the end of the year, that changes the whole numbers on the budget for
Yeah.
next year.
What'd Jimmy say?
I mean, that basically keeps a $5 cost out of it
Yep.
next year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Elmer, as much as I don't like the whole idea either, I mean, as a property owner, as a ratepayer, as grinder pump owner, we still have to look at this in the same light that we looked at the rate increase. You and I pay our bill on time, all the time, but yet we have to pay more because of those who don't pay, basically. So,
I mean, it would be nice to know that what we have is gravity flow system and have deep wet wells, but you see, we have problems with wet wells too, so there's just no perfect system out there after it gets time water,
anything mechanical will fail.
Exactly.
other than what's up on the hill will go downhill. I mean, it's the most proven system that's out there, and
We don't have much trouble with that problem system on this hill, do we?
no.
Not the thing.
I mean, if you forget,
All
And
right,
if
what
you-
Jimmy, what Jimmy say? I'll second wherever he said, let's get it over with.
Henny said it,
I
and
made the motion.
All right,
I made the motion that it's 3 months.
3 months full warranty. That takes it to June. And then from July through December 31st,
Parts only.
we'll pay the parts, the owner will pay the labor, and starting January 1st, 2018, we're out of it. I'm not gonna say it that way in the letter,
secondly,
but
right?
they're the owners.
Are we gonna publish the loaner, 30-day loaner?
Yes, that should be part of it too,
30-day
yes.
loan.
Okay.
And that's
Yes.
indefinite, right, that, the loaner?
Oh, yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I mean, a 30-day loaner, that's maximum, 30
Right.
days.
And,
Right, but
yeah,
I
if
mean,
it's
but what he means is that,
31,
What I mean by indefinite is that, yeah, you're not putting a
no, it could be
two-year
six,
timeframe on
no.
that. If you're gonna stop having a loaner program, then you'll announce it.
I think
Pass a
DEP
motion
requires to
say
have a
that.
loaner program.
They might, yeah, they
From
might
what I've
very
been
well.
talking to Lou and stuff, I ain't sure we can get out of that.
Right.
I don't
okay.
think we really want to.
No, I tend to agree, that's, it seems like the right thing to do.
I mean, if we gotta maintain 10% and stuff like that, you're kind of, if we gotta maintain pumps, we might as well have a reason to maintain the pumps.
Yes, otherwise they're just
Yeah.
sitting there, not being used.
Yep. Okay?
All right, so we have a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second, we have,
Who seconded it? Did you?
no, Jim, did. I did.
you did.
Okay.
All right,
All
I
right.
did.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
All in favor?
Regularly moved and seconded, is there any discussion? All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You'll
Thank
get-
you.
Somebody will get the word
Over the
out.
weekend, over this weekend, I will, try a draft letter and then I'll get it around to you guys. All right?
We have 2 more things on new business not listed.
Okay, number 3, we have I'm gonna say, application to fulfill the vacancy on the board of authority member. Okay? What we normally do is we present that nomination, or we wish for it, and then we present it to the township supervisors, and then they either agree or disagree with it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes,
So,
we recommend that they appoint them.
do we have
I make a recommendation. I make a motion. God, what am I doing? I want to make a motion that
Okay.
we recommend
Mhm.
Mr. Russell Wirtz to the Penn Township Supervisors to fill the vacancy on the Municipal Authority Board
for the
for
remaining
the
of his term?
remaining term.
And you know what? I'm not sure what Sam's term is,
I
so
don't know.
I'll have to
So
find.
for the
I'll-
Hopefully
remaining term.
somebody's keeping
Well,
track
Karen.
of it.
Karen,
What is his term?
Karen has it.
Yeah, I don't know when
I think it's
mine
25
goes.
years.
Start right here.
The full term is 5 years.
Okay, I got a
think,
motion.
But this would be
Second.
partial.
And regularly moved and seconded. All those in favor, give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't get a vote, remember?
This is only so far. I mean, don't mean, this is not carved in stone yet.
Oh, I know.
We still gotta go through the other side. so.
Yeah, and the other side doesn't meet now until the end of March.
Here you go, Susan. See if that gets there.
All right.
Okay, the
Oh, we
other
actually
thing.
mean on the 15th of
Oh, they
March,
do?
so
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's full board.
that's not the full board?
I don't think so. Don't need to be the full board. I think it's just gonna be one person.
Do they
Okay,
have,
never mind.
how many do they have now? Is there?
3.
did it- Oh, they have, who's the other, who's the new?
Pam
Pam
Huss.
Huss.
And Huss.
Pam Barry.
Who?
Pam Barry. Maiden name. Dutch Barry's daughter.
Is she on the super?
She was appointed last night to fill. McGuire quit.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
All right, the other thing is, I got a note here for number 4 is volunteers for flushing.
Oh, that's-
Okay,
got an extra
we
one.
are involved in that, and we are gonna pursue that, which I think we made the decisions on that already, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now, what was the other one?
I have a couple if you don't.
Oh, yes, we need to contact, send a letter to Penn Township supervisors in regards to any knowledge of actions being taken with the Yanks development.
All right, do you
Or
want to
anybody
do
else.
that, or do you just want to know what the chair, what the ex-chairman of the planning commission said?
Yeah, read it, go ahead,
Okay,
read
I
that.
go ahead.
I will accept that.
Because I texted him
I
whenever.
understand, yes, go ahead.
No way. We approved the preliminary plan, which is only a concept, not a final.
Oh.
We have to have an okay from the authority before any further action. Let me know if they tell you otherwise, meaning the
Okay.
Yanks. Now, I will ask him what kind of they can't do anything more until they get an okay from us, but we can't do anything till we get
Plans.
A plan.
a plan.
We gotta
so-
have a plan that they're gonna take it back down through the hollow again, which is what I'm hearing about.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
Well, if they're gonna do that, don't they need, aren't they gonna need approval from the
Okay.
zoning hearing board?
Zoning.
So whenever they talk to
Yeah,
you,
they'll
saying
also
it
need
needs to
something
come
from
in
the
front of
planning
our
commission.
board, because we
Is there a
cannot,
steep slope?
the two of you have not the ability to make decisions,
Right,
okay? So,
okay.
I mean, that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, maybe he's forgetting that he only dealt with
Well,
you
we
two
have, we
instead
don't have
of.
another meeting scheduled, do we, Jim?
Maybe that's one you don't know about. You couldn't figure out what it was.
The next thing after that's gonna be water, you know that, so.
Could we request from the township, any action regarding that on the planning commission side?
Could we request from the township any and all involvement of the township,
Mm-hmm.
be it whatever committee?
And water, or
that they
everything
would
we have.
transmit that information to us,
Yeah.
instead of making us guess.
So we can just say, what is the status of the Yingst Stone Mill estate property as far as the township?
That sounds good.
Yes, in regards to planning
Any
commission,
planning approvals
the
or
zoning officer, any of
whatever.
that.
Yep.
Please keep us informed, that's all we, you know,
Okay,
rather than us having to guess. what the
We
hell's
are not
going on.
mushrooms.
I mean, we were,
So
last
we are
night,
not mushrooms.
last night they wanted to pursue the meeting fast enough and we got pulled off. We weren't even asked to say anything last night, so.
We weren't even on the
They
agenda.
pulled us because they figured it didn't really, we didn't have nothing to say.
We had no
So,
action item.
No action,
items.
so they figured we'd just veto it, you know.
What you're talking about, new members and filling in terms, I remember years ago, probably 30-plus years ago, with the authority I represented. For some reason, it became important to track exactly who was on the board for, I think it was like a 25-year period of time or longer. And there was as to who filled what term, when people were appointed, trying to reconstruct, and it had to be done. I can't remember why, but oh my God, was it a nightmare. We had to try to reconstruct that. We did the best we could.
Okay.
All right.
is there anything you want to do about this telemetry system that the operators now have in their report, they said it was about $3,000.
$3,000, then plus, what,
Plus
$23 a month?
$23 a month. The one that's the fail-safe method
How
where,
much was it a month?
well, $23 a month for the whatever, the phone charges, but it's around $3,000 for the telemetry. It's the one that, in case the blowers stop and all that, it's an
Yeah, and that
alarm
there's-
system that lets them know.
Yes, I understand. $3,000 is cheap to get DEP off of us.
You had to
Well,
have
he said
something
they-
go down for 24 hours that we don't know, that they don't know about.
Okay? Does anybody have
They-
any?
Sorry.
Do we want to take action on that, or do we want to have a little bit of discussion? We can do it JOAC meeting, we can do it next month. I'm open for whatever ideas you got.
It's only 9/12.
Did they get a proposal, Susan?
Yes, they said that they said it was
They have team
$3,000.
budget pricing.
Yeah, they got it for approximately $3,000.
Well, maybe we should have a little more information from them.
In other
before
words,
we take action on it. I mean, are they looking at more than one unit, you know?
Okay.
bells and whistles versus bare
You
bones?
want me to talk to Lou about that?
Yes.
All right,
And maybe with the JOAC, we could take just about 10 minutes, once you get the
Yes.
information, take about 10 minutes to talk about it.
Okay.
And then we can know whether we want to or whether we don't want to.
Okay.
I don't see us spending a half an hour on it.
No.
JOAC.
Okay. Is there anything else that comes before this board?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Oh, I like that.
Been regularly moved and seconded. All those
Elmer
in favor,
picked-
give their
Elmer picked me
consent by
up,
saying
and
aye.
I said, motion to adjourn then.
I'm waiting for an aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
sorry.
all right, Dennis, I'm gonna run these checks off for you.
Oh, great, thanks. You know, I can't remember now, if the zoning hearing board had to approve anything on that Yanks line going down. I know we had a steep slope, but
It's not moving.
and it seems like we had a hearing.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem, I was at the wrong meeting.
They did, they jerry-rigged, they put
Well, I
a new road.
appreciate that.
Jim and I looked at their plans, they put a new road
That
to
was
try
last
to
night.
make sure there wasn't
Well,
any
thanks for
way
coming.
that we couldn't get to a manhole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we
They
may
did.
have, the zoning board might have approved it the last time?
No,
I can't
evidently they
remember.
didn't.
about that.
From what she said, they didn't approve it.
Well, no.
They gave a proposed map when Jim and I met with them that one time, and it had.